Terrifier 3, the third film in the Terrifier. Well, it's a franchise. It's fully a franchise with its own popcorn bucket and popcorn cup, as it were. Terrifier 3 is not for the faint of heart. If you saw the first film and the second, they are gore fests. Gore fests. It is like levels of gore you don't see in just a regular horror film. Of course, continuing with Art the Clown, played by David Howard Thornton. He has returned as he's kind of a hero of this franchise. Along with Lauren Lavera, who plays Sienna Shaw, and her family are back being terrified by Art the Clown, who is paired with an ingenue, as it were, his Harley Quinn. This film is set during Christmas. There is an opening Christmas scene with a family getting ready for the holiday, and a young girl can't wait because cookies and milk have been laid out for the elves that are coming to, pre-look at the area for Santa to arrive. When Art the Clown, dressed as Santa, comes in to the family, and you can only guess what happens to them. And by the way, the thing about the Terrifier movies, children are not spared.
Oh.
I'll just say this on the gore. I'll get into it. I'm not going to spoil, but I'll tell you about a couple specific things. Levels of gore where people are walking out of the theater. I noticed at least 2 people leave within the first 10 minutes. Okay? They left. The gore is beyond. And the effects and makeup effects and gore and creative kills are, what can you do with an axe and a person? So, yeah, it's beyond. So you'll see from that opening scene, Art the Clown now is back and on a rampage. You're seeing the body count is piling up. There are then now super fans. There's a young girl, a young woman, I believe it's played by Charlotte McKee, is a super fan of Art the Clown and the murders. She does a podcast where they talk about it. She wants to get Sienna on her show. Sienna's like, "Hey, get away from me. I don't want to relive that trauma, whatnot." And dude, the gore in this movie, yes, I know my last name is Gore. The gore is just on another level. All right. I'm looking away during certain stuff. It really is just insane levels of gore. There's stuff where there's a later scene that involves a shower scene and a chainsaw. And let me just say, no one is spared. Children, attractive women. Yes, there's nudity, Alan. You can be sure of that. Men, women, children, no one is spared in this movie. And the deaths in the climax, I won't get into it, are just beyond. Now, how does it compare to Terrifier 2? I really like Terrifier 2, but the problem I have with the second one was the running time. But I loved Sienna becoming what you would describe as kind of an avenging angel with a sword. I love that aspect of it. But there's some torture porn scenes in Terrifier 2 that just go beyond. This is a tighter running time at 2 hours, but I'll say I kind of like Terrifier 2 a little bit more. But not by much. This one is being rated very high. 77% critic score, and the audience score is, I think, at 90%. So fans are liking it, but again, this movie is not for everyone. If you're a horror fan, doesn't mean you will like this. This is horror fans that are gore hounds. How far can you push the medium? This is bar none, the most grotesque, horrific, creative kills beyond anything you've seen ever released mainstream in a movie theater. As I said, there were paying customers at the 10 o'clock screening I went to, and people walked out who paid for this movie. Okay. So, and the fates that certain characters have are shocking. And I don't think it's a spoiler to say it does open itself up to a sequel. Things occur that set up an ongoing story. But I have to, one final thing to say here about David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown. And if I'm sure you've seen images of Art. He's like a silent film hero. One of the best scenes in the movie is when Art the Clown, he never speaks, no words from Art the Clown, but you know what he's saying. And David Howard Thornton as his character is like a black and white silent comedian in the stark makeup. I'd love to see the Terrifier 3 in black and white. I don't know if director Damien Leone has thought about doing a black and white version or release it, because Art the Clown, the way there's a scene where he's overhearing people talk about him, and they cut back to Art the Clown going and reacting. You know what he's saying. It got the biggest laugh in the theater. He's like, Silent Bob, or it's like a Buster Keaton, or clearly David Howard Thornton has studied the great silent film comedians and has channeled that into a clown that kills. And I strongly recommend this movie with a warning. For me, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. But I would say I like Terrifier 2 just a little more. But it has truly come into its own as a franchise. The movie was made for $2 million and guarantee it will make its money back this weekend. So, and if you're going to see a scary clown movie, you can see Joker Folie à Deux or Terrifier 3. The choice is clear. Choose Art the Clown. But again, not for everyone. The level of gore in this movie is, you are going to have a moment in the movie, no matter how big a horror fan you are, well, you will turn away and say, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they took a chainsaw and did that to a naked person. Unbelievable stuff where you're like, and I'm sure that Damien Leone is like, oh my God, he is effing with the audience. And shout out to David Howard Thornton. Really, he really has created a character with Art the Clown. So strong recommend. Jump on the Terrifier bandwagon, get the popcorn bucket, but be warned, not for everyone. Do you have any questions for me, Alan?
I'll be honest, I was tempted to see it last night, and I thought better.
Dude,
I thought better.
The shower scene alone, and that's not the grossest thing. I mean, I would say that, like, I've been following horror obviously for years as a fan. I think the horror film that affected me the most as a kid was Night of the Living Dead, the black and white one, and then the 1978 Halloween I saw in the theater. There's something about a horror film that comes from, do you remember those old Driver's Ed movies we saw as a kid where they tried to, there's
Red Asphalt.
Yes. Okay. Those movies were intentionally gory to scare you. They would scare you to being responsible about driver safety, about wearing your seatbelt. I remember seeing those movies, and they were like a test. Those Driver's Ed movies from the 70s and 80s influenced horror, because it was the whole question a film asks is, can you take it? Can you take it? Well, at least 2 people at the screening I was at could not take. I was in a packed theater. Almost every seat was full. And the audience is with the movie. This is a movie where you actually like audience participation, where people are groaning or screaming or laughing or turning their head away or walking out of the theater. I saw a couple. The woman was walking out dragging her boyfriend. I mean, it was hilarious to see. Like, they left, but it is beyond. So again, it's not like, hey, let's go see a horror movie at Blumhouse. No, this is beyond Blumhouse.
Yeah.
This is a whole new thing. And by the way, Damien Leone, indie filmmaker. This was independently made. Terrifier 2 made over 10 million at the box office, and it was made for under $1 million.
Yeah. In fact, we have an interview with Damien Leone on the film.
Yeah, on our interview channel, look up the interview with Damien Leone.
Yeah.
I'll try and get him on the show later this month.
Well, I'll say this: if there's anything positive to say about the Terrifier 3 series you just mentioned, it's an indie filmmaker who made his movie, did whatever he could to scrap money together, made the movie, and is finding massive success with it. I mean, I remember Terrifier 2 when it came out. First of all, I got the screener. I'm watching it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is horrible." And then when it got to the Salt, I was like, "I'm out. I cannot handle this movie." But what I found fascinating was, as I'm going to screenings throughout Orange County for the next 2 months, Terrifier 2 was in. They were still showing Terrifier 2. There was still interest in this movie. People were going to see this movie over and over again. I tweeted last night, the Terrifier 3 is playing at the AMC Fullerton, which does dine-in seating. So you can order food, they'll bring the food to your seat, and you can eat it while watching the movie. And Terrifier 3 has many screenings in that theater. So you can order a burger, a pizza, salad, and watch Terrifier 3 at the same time. But I mention all this because here's an independent filmmaker who made the movie on his own, found distribution, got to AMC's and Cinemarks and other chains, and bypassing the Hollywood system altogether. And kudos to him for that.
Yeah, it's Hollywood would never make this. Never make it. It could only be done independent. And
I'm pretty sure that woman left because he killed a child. And that was...
Well, no, that was even like after. Like, it's just the movie that this is you. When you see a good horror film, no one should be safe. No one should be safe. So, it really is a great continuation. It sets up another movie, and I'm all in. So, but again, you need to be warned. I think people will walk out at any screening of this, but that's up to you.
But you would think by the time of Terrifier 3, you know something about this movie.
Yeah, right.
And what you're in for.
All right. Well, again, take my recommendation and warning.